Today's route is simple, flat enough, and then a final climb to the finish at Oropa Sanctuary, where Marco Battani scored one of the final wins in his career. There's more history in this route too. The start is in Castellania, where Fausto Coppi was born and buried. But history continues on, a new chapter begging to be written. With a route like this, just one climb and relatively steady slopes, the true climbers, like Quintana, might have a harder time trying to gain separation from race leader Dumoulin, whose diesel engine is an advantage on this climb. And so, let's begin our journey at the base of the climb, with just under 12 kilometers left. It's Trek Segafredo on the front, with Jasper Stuyven making the pace as high as possible to shed dead weight, softening the rest of the field up so teammate Bauke Mollema, sitting second, might have a little less competition. Sunweb is there as well as a rider, as is Bahrain, and surprisingly, Team Sky, whose GC hopes may be gone, but a stage win is still a big achievement, and they need something to salvage the race. FTJ also starts fighting towards the front, looking for Pinot to improve on his current 4th place overall. What we're seeing is the climbing version of the sprint chain leadouts. Our first glimpse of Vincenzo Nibali happens with 10k to go. His Giro might not have gone exactly as he's hoped yet, but 5th place, just over 2.5 minutes behind, is not the worst place to be with 7 stages still left. 9.6 kilometers to go, and Movistar takes over. Back on stage 9, they were the dominating force, eliminating everyone else's teammates, and all Quintana had to do then was finish the job. But Rojas and Izagirre have gone harder than the rest of the field wants to, and the team manager orders them to slow down. This opens a window of opportunity. Team Sky's Diego Rosa attacks, the first effect Team Sky has really had on the race thus far. With 9 kilometers to go, it might be a long shot, but they're at least trying something. 7.5 kilometers left. Rosa has an 11-second lead, and Movistar is setting a pace that may not be brutal, but certainly isn't easy. It's at 6.2 kilometers where the inevitable capture of Rosa is made. Movistar is now truly in control. 3 teammates at the front with Quintana sitting 4th wheel, riding the race in a way no other team can, especially not Dumoulin's Sunweb team. He isn't even in the top 10 wheels right now, and Nibali, locked onto Quintana, is ever the shark hunting for prey. A 5.5 to go, and it's time for another stage hunter to strike. Igor Anton on Dimension Data strikes out in hopes of a surprise. He's won on Mount Zoncolan, a much tougher climb than this, but Movistar wasn't chasing him then. Ilnur Zakarin decides it's time for the real show to start, the first GC contender to attack, and Anton's day is already over. Yates closes the gap and then stays on the front through 5k to go. All the top 15 or so are here, almost all without a teammate, except for Nibali and Quintana. The winner Anacona is Quintana's teammate here, and Franco Pelazzotti is working for Nibali. The two lead the field as the climb continues. Stefan Kruijswijk is finally looking good, near the front in the yellow Lotto kit, hoping that today catapults him into the top 10. Adam Yates picks up the pace, and this spells doom for Bauke Mollema, who is fading fast off the back, the podium he's holding on to beginning to slip. Everything is beginning to happen at once. The camera cuts back to the front. Pozzo Vivo, the diminutive Italian, attacks and ends a free-for-all. He's got a gap, and Mikel Landa finally hits the front, but it's Quintana that goes, makes the catch, and keeps going. Pozzo Vivo is on the wheel immediately, and so is Zakarin, and that makes Quintana back off the pace. Pinot is struggling the most after this acceleration, his pedaling haggard, just slipping away from Dumoulin and the lead group. Quintana attacks again. Zakarin can follow, but Pozzo Vivo can't. Pinot is now truly dropped. Ahead, Dumoulin is at the back of the chase group of 5, but that's his style. We saw it on stage 9. when he rides at a steady tempo, but that was old Tom. What we watch right now is new Tom, a Tom that attacks the climbs, a Tom that battles. The slope is 9%, and Dumoulin is quickly pulling them back. And as if he can sense it, Quintana strikes again, firing a metaphorical bullet, which has spelled the end for Zakarin. Dumoulin, Nibali, and Landa are chasing, and we wait to see if we ever get a time check. And with 3K to go, we do. It's 9 seconds. Not enough. Not nearly enough to take the jersey back today, but it's all about chipping away at the 2-minute and 23-second gap. Dumoulin won't let this happen either, especially as the slopes start to dip below 7%. There are other riders here, obviously, but the battle is a duel between Tom and Nairo. Two riders, two contrasting styles, personalities, and career paths, and moments like this are what the Grand Tours are made for. The slope pitches up one more time, but the gap doesn't extend. 1.8 to go, and Quintana looks like for the first time in this Giro, he's in pain. Adam Yates is disconnected from the chase group, but he's doing enough today to move up in the overall. 1.7 to go. Quintana is almost caught, but attacks again, then looks over his shoulder, past the idiot fans in the middle of the road, and slows down. At this critical juncture, Nibali cracks. A stage win and his GC hopes fade a little more here, but we have no time to regret what might have been, because Dumoulin attacks, and as he passes Quintana, shoots a glare directly at him, a way of saying mountains are my lands too. And Dumoulin hammers the front, emulating a time trial performance. 1 kilometer left. Who's going to take the stage? Meanwhile, Pinot is down 31 seconds, Nibali just 8. The GC picture is going to look completely different by the finish of today. 600 meters. Dumoulin, Zakarin, Quintana, and Landa all in order. Dumoulin has not let up for even a second, keeping everyone on edge. A hairpin. Dumoulin looks around. Zakarin goes. Dumoulin and Landa following. And Quintana, on a climb, has cracked right at the end. A dramatic twist. And Dumoulin is going to have a very, very good day by winning in the sprint against Zakarin on top of the climb at stage 14, increasing his lead. A stunning statement. By the end of the day, the top two overall remain unchanged, but Dumoulin now holds a 2-minute and 47-second gap over Quintana. Pinot, despite being dropped sooner, is now in the third place on the podium, just 15 seconds ahead of Nibali in fourth. Zakarin is up 5 spots to 5th overall, and Mollema has fallen down to 6th. This final climb was a beautiful distillation of how good cycling can be, how compelling and dramatic every second is. Stage 15 would be more of the same. Quick-Step is having a great Giro. Fernando Gaviria has won multiple stages and is wearing the purple jersey of the points leader. Bob Jungels wore pink for a few days and is currently in the white jersey of the best young rider, signifying he could be a future overall contender. Today's stage, with back-to-back Category 2 climbs, a descent, and then a short and steep hill into a downhill finish in the final 40 kilometers, promises pure chaos. Attacks fly on the first climb. Jans van Rensburg, Pierre Roland, Luis Leon Sanchez, all animators, all trying to make a difference. 37.3 to go. The first descent, a Movistar rider takes a corner just a little too fast and hits a gravel trap, sliding out hard. It's Quintana. He's up fast and moving, but any minor crash could have consequences. The race leader, Dumoulin, is at the front, and he has his team slow down the pace, adhering to the unwritten rule of cycling, not gaining time on an opponent when they crash at a moment like this. We're fast forwarding here to the final hill before the finish, with 5 kilometers to go. At the front of the race, the breakaway has a slim 5-second lead, working together quite well, hoping to keep their lead to and over the climb. But the peloton can be seen just behind. The climb beckons. Luis Leon Sanchez leads into it. The peloton can almost touch them. Bahrain takes control of the front for Nibali, hoping to get a mark of redemption. The front now, a random batch of cobblestones, and Roland uses this as an opening 4 kilometers to go. The pave is shaking everyone's brains within their skulls. Finally, smooth road, and it's Bob Jungels, best young rider, making a move. He's flying, pushing at big gear. The noted Pulp Fiction fan looking for his first Giro stage win. Pozzo Vivo and Nibali now go. Nibali finally being the aggressor. The descent begins. 3 kilometers left. It'll be a small group coming to the finish, one that will include Dumoulin, Quintana, and Pinot, all the contenders. 2 kilometers left. The psychological games of watching each other, of not taking the front, begin. A right-hander, and then Jungels pushes again, taking the pace up a notch as they pass under the red flag for the final kilometer. Pinot is sitting second. Mollema takes advantage of a slight pause and sprints first, Pozzo Vivo following. Jungels slots into third wheel, and with 200 meters to go, he sprints again, an endless well of energy springing forth. No one can get around him. The young star truly declares himself as a rider on the top level of racing. Tomorrow is a rest day, and following that is the last 6 days, and the final act begins.